Hello, everybody. In today's video, we're going to look at word families, and they're connected to parts of speech. We're going to look and see how we can understand words and see how they're connected if we understand part of the word. Let's take a look. If we look down here, we see the word sign, and then we see many other words, just like a family tree. And all of the words that are here are connected in some way or another in meaning. So let's take a look at how this works. So if we look at words, we can begin to see that they have a common base or root. Many languages have roots, like Hebrew, Arabic, and other languages. So if we look and we see a word like differ and difference, and different and differently. They have something that's the same. Differ, 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 differ. And if we look at the other words, we have active, actively, act, and action. And here too, we can see that all of these words have something in common. Act, 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 and action. And here we see that they're grouped this way, and we see that the suffix, the ending of the word, is a little bit different. Most endings in English show us a grammatical form. It gives us grammatical information. ION is often a noun. IVE is often an adjective, and LY is an adverb. And here too, we can see ly, it's an adverb. An adverb, to remind you, describes how an action is done. So we can see that they have the same root. Act, actively, act, active, act, the verb, act, action. And here, differ. Differ is our verb. It means two things are different. Apples and oranges differ in many ways. They have a difference, okay? They look differently, and they have a different color. So we want to begin to pay attention. If we see different and we say difference, we're able to more or less sometimes get an idea of the meaning of the word. So if we look here and we say, how many families do you see? So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to take a look and see if you can see one family, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Okay, let's see how many families there are. Well, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of the families have 3 members, and some of the families have 4 members. So it's very helpful if you know the meaning of the base form. You can often understand the other members of its family. So for example, the police detective solved the murder. Detect is to see something. Today, obese means huge. Obesity is a global health problem. No taste or smell is an indication. Indica points means to point to something that you may have COVID-19. If you want to buy a car, you need to take the cost into consider. To consider is to think about, into consideration. So when we're looking at a word family, we need to pay attention to the part of speech. Because sometimes when we're writing, we have to make a decision. Do I need the noun form or the verb form or the adjective or the adverb? So again, we need to go to our sentence. Gal is very, because she runs and plays sports every day. It tells us something. It's telling us about Gal. So that's probably an adjective. Let's see. Yep, she's very active. They say that speak louder than words. something. So we need probably a noun. Let's see, is that action? They say that actions speak louder than words. To make a big change, don't just talk. We need a verb. So here we would have act. And here you have to participate. How do we participate? We have to participate actively in class, even on Zoom. Let's see if we can do another one using the word detect. Now, if we know detective, because we all watch television and watch different kinds of detective, what does a detective do? The detective detects. What's his job is detection. And now here we notice that we've got two noun forms. Sometimes in a family, there'll be one noun or two or three or four. And sometimes in this case, the most common form, the one we see the most, is the noun. So let's look. We have to pay attention to the sentence. There is a test that can COVID-19. Can, after can, we're always going to have a verb. Let's see if we're right. Yep, can detect. The early of cancer can save lives. The early detective, no, because detective would be probably a person. Let's try this one. Detection. Sherlock Holmes. Oh, everyone knows who Sherlock Holmes is. He was a famous detective. So in the sentence, we can see that they all belong to the same family. There's something related in meaning. To detect is to find out. So to find out if you have COVID. Early detection, finding out. And Sherlock Holmes was a famous detective, someone who finds out information. And let's look at the last one. Many children eat too many sweets and are something. So we have to describe the children, so are obese. There's a growing problem of. After of, we're going to have a noun, obesity. In fact, there are children who are obesely fat. So if we remember the word obesity and we see the word obesely or obese, and we remember obesity has something about being very, very fat, it helps us to understand the meaning. So that's how we can grow our vocabulary. So even if we only know one or two or three of the words, we can begin to see that there's a connection between the words. So pay attention to the root, look for it, ask yourself, what part of the word do I understand? What meaning? And then use it to help you understand the word.